Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the iFox with Juice podcast. I'm your host, Juice, and I'm here with my co-host, the unlabeling of my quote-unquote racist foods from Trader Joe's. Me, Reen. What's going on, Reen?
What the shit? What happened? Oh God.
You remember that?
Yes,
You're a minority, Reen. Of course, you remember that.
they're changing names around again.
I, all right, I will just say this: I don't shop at Trader Joe's often, but they make some pretty good products. Like some of the shit that they make, especially their beer. If you guys have never tried their beer, it's pretty good. Especially the Trader Jose. It's like a Mexican style beer, especially the dark one. Oh, it's fucking delicious. It's like legitimately a really, really good beer. So they're gonna take away my Trader Jose. Fuck these fools.
What are they gonna call it?
I don't know. What Trader Joe's beer to make it more bland? I don't fucking know. That's the thing. You know what? Here's the thing. I would be in favor of this. Like I haven't had a lot of their quote unquote ethnic food. But like if I tried that beer and it sucked and it didn't taste like authentic Mexican beer, I'd be like, yeah, change this shit. It's offensive to my heritage anyway. It doesn't even taste like Mexican beer. But it's like they did it justice. It's a really good beer. It tastes like a Victoria or like a Bohemia, like a dark amber Mexican beer. But nah, they went so woke that I guess they got to take it back now. It's fucking odd.
I hate this shit. They don't gotta change everything, do they?
You know what's one of the weird things that I hear in this argument about getting rid of some of this is that they said in particular with Trader Joe's products that it promoted quote unquote exoticism, which to me I'm like, if it wasn't for exoticism, I wouldn't be fucking white women.
Right?
We're trying to get with other races. I'm tired of my own people.
God damn it.
You think white women fuck me just because I'm that good looking? No, there's something exotic about me. Same Rain, not you're a woman, so it's different, but still, obviously there's that stereotype with Asian women and especially with white men.
Yeah. I was considered exotic in the South. I was different, so
I think you're exotic even in California.
not really.
There's not too many Okinawans.
No, but they don't know what I am, so
But well,
I'm just the yeah, I'm either Mexican or I don't even know what the hell you are. Like, what are you? So they can't figure me out. But in the South, it's obvious. So, but man, like every little thing, like were people complaining about that, or was it just like white people? Like,
no, like I heard someone say, I don't know if it was this YouTuber, I forgot who I heard mention this. Like the funny thing is, like that's what I said. Like they went way too woke. Like there's like, why do you think they made these products to begin with? To be inclusive. Like they didn't want to have just white people food, so they're like, okay, let's have some Mexican products and name it Trader Jose. Let's have some Asian products and name it. I don't know. It's like they had some weird one. I think like Ming something. I guess there's like a Asian brand of it too. I never paid attention to that. But yeah, there's different sides of the world. Like stereo. You can say there's stereotypical names to go with the product. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know I mean. I didn't even get bothered by Goya, which I don't know, maybe extreme on my end. But I don't know. I just don't get a lot of this shit. I just do not get offended by it. People still trying to cancel Rosarita and shit just because Aunt Jemima got canceled. I don't get it, man. I don't get what the big deal is about Mexican people wearing sombreros. We wear fucking sombreros, man. There's nothing wrong with it. That's a part of our culture. It's not just a stereotype. It's like an actual cultural thing.
I was only offended about Goya because they supported Trump. Like that was the
One
only.
one dude did, just the main guy. You don't
Yeah,
know what the other people are.
true that.
And it still is stupid. Anybody that threw their food away to get clout on fucking social media, you guys are fucking idiots, man. You throw show that to people around the world. Oh yeah, why are these people throwing perfectly good food away? Oh yeah, because Orange Man bad.
I know, right? Like, keep the
Assholes.
keep the cans. You might need it.
Yeah, it's not like we're in dire times. And even if you really don't think you need to go to a fucking food bank, people are hungry. Trust me,
Yeah,
starving people are not gonna not eat it because guy says something in support of Trump. They're gonna eat it.
yeah. I mean, like even Ivanka holding it kind of disgusts me too. So
Well, that's just unethical. That's wrong for other reasons. That's yeah.
I'm like, is there other seasonings and cans I can get? Because I was off of what? I was on that kick, Goya kick, because of my ex. He is what, Cuban and Puerto Rican. So I was introduced to that when I was like 20 something.
Puerto Ricans love that shit, man.
Yeah, so it's been over 20 years since I've been rocking that shit. And yeah, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to look for a different seasoning.
That's fine.
I'm like, God damn it.
Goya has a monopoly on canned beans and shit. Go for someone else. Help out the little guy a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
Huh, I have to try somebody else. Give them
And
my
if they
money now.
and if they suck, then yeah, go back to Goya. I'm not gonna judge you for it.
Huh, the
Fucking
adobo
food.
kicks, man. That adobo with the little red lid, the red top. That kicks. The little box seasoning too, for like pico de gallo and stuff. Well, the Cuban version.
Oh, okay.
Making stuff like that. Now I gotta find other products. Because I'm a hater.
Nothing wrong. Well, that's fine too. Nothing wrong with expanding your horizons, even in the food aisle.
I don't know, man. I'm like looking at like the timeline. I was like, oh, there's other ones. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, because that's what I was introduced to, and I thought that's what like majority used. But no,
Well,
there's like others and other seasonings too. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
word. It's good to have variety, people. Can't
Yeah,
have like
exactly.
just bland white people food.
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna say, even with white people, like you look at like something like ketchup. Like, of course, there's Heinz, that's very famous. There's also like Hunt's, and
Mm-hmm.
there's French's, and there's all kinds of condiments out there.
Yep.
It's not just one, but yeah, it's just with Hispanics, they have that market down. But anyway, enough about the weird nonsensical makes no difference in the end culture war going on as the country's burning. Now we're got to talk about fights because that's what you guys come here for. So let's get straight into it, and we're gonna get into the rewind of UFC Fight Island Part 2 or 3. I don't even fucking remember what it is, but let's get into the rewind. And first up, we did not mention these fights last week, only because I didn't really know the opponents. I don't think either of us really knew who the opponents were. Big Ariana Lipsky and Mark Chikasi fans, but we didn't really know their opponents. In the case of Lipsky, god damn it, did she show out?
Was her knee bar more ferocious than Zabit's?
Yes, because I mean the beats was. I mean they were both quote unquote exotic. If you want to go back to that term, they're both weird. But the beats was just like, damn, that's cool. Like that's crazy. That's cool. With Lipsky's, it was just pure utter agony. Like you felt like Carolina when that happened. It was like, oh man, I feel my knee popping right now, and I've never even been put in a knee bar. That was brutal, man. Because yeah, sitting on her waist and just peeling back, like that's just all the weight on a fucking kneecap. Like that's just bad news all over it.
I was trying to recall all the knee bars that were done. Like Frank Mir had one against Brock. And then I think Sterling had one against Cody Stamen.
Jim Miller got one against Charles Oliveira back in the day. It was, I think, Charles Oliveira's first loss. He got him in a knee bar.
Yeah. So Lipsky's, she's not even like a real ground fighter. Like she has the most ferocious knee bar now. That's crazy, man.
Oh, it was not in the UFC, but one of the worst ones that I remember before this one. This was, I think, the all-time king as far as like, ow, ow. Shogun and Kevin Randleman in Pride. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. He like Shogun straight up went like action figure on him. Like, like little action figures when you're little and you can like bend the knees in weird ways that it shouldn't. Like he straight up did that to Kevin Randleman back in the day. That was like 15 years ago though. I think it's like the only submission that Shogun has ever had.
Damn, I gotta look back at it then.
Yeah, I'll send you a clip afterwards. It's fucking hideous. It was disgusting because he it was kind of like the opposite of Lipski. Well, no, similar, but yeah, he like leaned back as a. It was kind of similar. It was kind of similar, but yeah, Shogun leaned back to the side, and like, oh my god, he's gonna break his leg in half. It was pretty bad, but I don't think he screamed the way that Carolina did. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
that was bad.
Yeah, and then now I remember the Jim Miller Oliveira one.
Yeah, because I think he was trying to go for it. Like I think he was kind of fucking with him, kind of going for a foot, like just kind of like maybe as a joke, like all right, maybe I got it, and Jim was like, nope, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go for a toe hold, but he like ended up twisting that knee and then just got him in the knee bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he fucked up his entire leg. I don't know where that came from Lipski, because she's just been like on a skid. I think her last fight she won that one.
Yeah, against a late notice replacement, like a 1 day notice.
Yeah, and then this she comes out of nowhere with a ferocious knee bar. So good on her, man.
There was we were missing the elephant in the room with knee bars, Paharis, but you know we don't mention them anymore. So
who's that guy? He don't count. He's a cheater.
Well, yeah. It's kind of ironic too, because knee bars were kind of new to jiu-jitsu overall too, because Brazilians thought that it was cheating because it was too dirty. Knee bars are actually a Russian move. So yeah, it's funny that a Brazilian picked it up that well and was still that incredibly dirty with it, even regardless of that, you know.
It's his, yeah. That's an evil knee bar from him. Like, no, he should be banned from ever doing that. It's just his size and his power. Like, he don't need to be doing that shit.
Well, that's probably the problem with Paharis, is that he took it to heart, because that's exactly how the Russians did it, because it's a military tactic. That's how the Russians would do it. Which is honestly kind of inhumane why they would do it, because that was an unarmed combat thing in the military. You start fighting with someone, go for the knee. Why? Because they don't have a knee, they can't stand up. So what does that mean? 2 people have to come and pick them up. Now you have 3 targets that can't defend themselves, so you mow them all down.
Fuck, man. Just thinking about knee bars.
But
knee is throbbing.
That's the way Paharis would do it, though. It wasn't about tapping. It was just, I'm gonna just snap your shit right here and now. I don't give a fuck.
God, fuck that guy. That silverback gorilla.
I wonder what he's doing now. I wonder if he's still big. I do wonder that sometimes.
Eating with needles.
Master forks. Injecting his tongue, gums, and shit. Jesus. Anyway, and then there was another quick mention with this Fiziev guy. I should have written down his first name. I think it was Raphael. I don't remember his first name, but yeah, this Russian cat Fiziev. He is amazing. Well, he went viral a year or two ago because he had that clip where someone threw a head kick at him and he did that Matrix-like head movement, and he did it again, I think twice, against Mark Jacasey, and has some of the most ungodly kicks I've ever heard in my life. They ended up getting fight of the night, so props to those guys. So wanted to make a quick mention, but to get onto the fights that we did talk about, Brett Johns beat Montel Jackson in I guess a controversial win, right?
Yeah, because when they read off the winner, I'm like, huh? Did he steal that one with the last round? Like, I was a little confused, but I think I was kind of fading at the end too. I'm like, I don't know about this fight anymore, because it was entertaining at first, and then I'm like, yeah, it's kind of messy now.
Especially the first round. Yep. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way too. I'm like, I don't think I paid enough attention to even really know or care.
So, damn, man, I don't even know. I mean, Johns tried to submit Jackson over and over and over again, but he could not get that choke in. That was like the only threat that I think he made that entire fight And that was what, coming into the first? No, was that the first or second? Maybe it
No,
was
the first one
in the
he got
second.
dropped. Oh no, yeah, I think he went for it. No, I think it was the second.
Second, right? Yeah, the second round with like a minute left or something crazy. I mean, he had some time to work, but I mean, he tried it and didn't. Never happened.
I think this is kind of a common thing we see in MMA. I think it's the same reason why Diego Sanchez has won so many decisions. They go for the aggressive fighter. You know, yeah, I guess there's an argument to be made that Jackson probably won that, but Brett Johns is similar to Diego Sanchez in that way, like just plowing forward and just throwing haymakers and and aggressive takedowns, and sometimes that wins you fights. That's probably what happened here.
Yeah, I think you're right, because he didn't do much. I mean, he got him up against the fence numerous times, but it was just hard to take Jackson down. He couldn't do anything if he did, too. So, yeah, that was confusing.
Yeah, I think that's all to be said about that one. And it's kind of similar to this one. I kind of felt like I was deja vu watching this fight, too. The other fight we covered was Askarov versus Alexander Pantoja. Askarov won, surprisingly. I don't think a lot of people expected him to win, even though we know he's a game fighter. But close fight, a lot of grappling, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it started off real well, and then yeah, about the halfway point, I think, like you said earlier, Reen, they were kind of fading out too. And close fight, Askarov won. Impressive that he got that W, especially against Pantoja, but kind of leaves you to wonder what's next.
I know, because Pantoja was ranked number 7 and number 4.
Yeah, I'm like number 3 or 4. It was pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm. Now Askarov comes out of nowhere. He's now probably going to be in the top 5,
maybe even top 3.
Yep. So there's some like changes up there, which is exciting, but at the same time, it's like, okay, what's going to happen to Moreno?
Especially that they fought to a draw. It's like there's nothing conclusive. I still think Moreno won that fight, but again, I mean, it still was close. Like you got to decide it. You got to do something about it. I think they should fight again, but I'm not at all going to be mad if Moreno gets a title shot because I love Moreno, and Moreno versus well, obviously everyone knows now Figueiredo. That'd be a ridiculous fight.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, it'll be kind of cool to see if they try to do it like this. There's an angle here where Moreno could fight Figgy in his mentor's honor, which is, Benavidez. So they can play that angle, or yeah, like you said, the rematch with Askarov, because I would love to see like who the actual winner is with that one, because it was such a close fight. It was a good fight too, and that was the fight that Moreno came back to, right? Because he had left the UFC, he got cut, and then that was his comeback fight.
I think you're right. Yes.
So yeah, I think there's a storyline there too. It was like his comeback fight. He got cut. Now he's, going on this run again, and let's just finish this out. Let's see who the winner is for, the next, the title contender. So, yeah, interesting though. It's cool that there's new blood at the top.
Yeah. I mean, there's contenders. And for a new champion, I think that's good, especially in a division like flyweight, which kind of feels like it's had a rebirth, right? Because it never went anywhere, but we were so scared for such a long time that it was. And then the Cejudo fiasco, the TJ Dillashaw shit, DJ losing, like for like a year, it was just like, come on, man. It was like being in whatever the fuck Will and Jada went through. Like we're divorced, but we're not.
Entanglement or whatever.
Yeah, that bullshit. Like that's what it felt like. Don't give me that shit that you don't know what it's like. I know what it's like. I watched UFC. I watched the UFC flyweight division.
Right? Because for the longest time, we're like, why? Like, that's one of my favorite divisions, okay? I love that division. But I was like, why should I care if they don't care? Why should I care if we're not going to see this division? how long are we gonna have it around for? And then it was around, so Cejudo did whatever with it, and then now finally we have like an actual champion that wants to be an active champion, by the way, too. So it's kind of exciting. I want to see what's going to happen next. They need to build it up, though. They really do. I mean,
they did get rid of. They got rid like at least of half the. Remember, at one point, I think there wasn't even enough fighters to make a top 15. Right. I think it ended up being like a top 13.
Yeah, it was like 12 or 13.
Because that was all that was available. Mm-hmm. Like if you can make the weight, you're in the top 12.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they'll come. Oh, I don't know. I mean, shit's just weird right now with the pandemic and everything going on. But as we've seen with, I mean, it's a little different because Invicta's basically a feeder league. But I mean, as you've seen, so many girls from Invicta have been scooped up lately. I want to think that can happen with flyweights too, especially because up until, well, by the time this gets released today, Bellator's having an event, but I mean, they don't even have flyweight, so they don't even count. So it's kind of the only place you can go, I think, if you're a flyweight, because I don't know how many, especially if some of these lower tier promotions, they may have to cut some fighters because they may not be able to afford some of these contracts. So yeah, they may get rid of flyweights, and maybe UFC can benefit from this. And I'm kind of including one in this too, because, you know, yeah, of course they're getting all these investments and shit, but you know, how long is that going to last?
Yeah, who knows? Didn't like Bellator just have a fight? Or is it coming up?
Oh yeah, that's Friday. That's what I'm saying.
It's
by
Friday?
the time that this drops, yeah, we're doing this Thursday, but yeah, by Friday, by the time this drops, it'll, yeah. And I think Pettis, who's I think a bantamweight now, is gonna fight Bandejas. They got that sidekicked that one Irish dude in the face. So yeah, that should be a good fight.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're back finally.
Crazy. It's been months and months and months for them. It's just been like UFC.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll talk about it a little bit later as far as some of the events coming up. But yeah, that things are kind of getting back to normal, although nothing's normal in the real sense of the word. But yeah, anyway, co-main event, Kelvin Gastelum got jacked by, well, no pun intended, by Jack Hermanson. Jesus Christ, that was. Man, I'm trying to remember a loss for Gastelum that was this emphatic, because this boy fucking always fights his heart out. He didn't have a choice. He didn't have a chance in this one.
I didn't think it was going to happen like that. Ah, man, that is so crazy.
I really think people sleep on Hermanson, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if it's because he's not like, I mean, he's a big dude. I think he is intimidating, but I don't know. Is it just because, especially in middleweight, there's guys like Romero and Cannonier that are just gigantic and strong as shit. That, like, I don't, and those are like real crazy freak athletes. But you look at Hermanson, I don't know, he kind of just looks like a dad.
Right.
I mean, he's still, he's big, scary dude, but like, you know, I guess compared to some of those dudes, but he hits hard and his submissions are no joke. I mean, he almost guillotined Jacare.
Yes. Yep.
Like, legitimately, like Jacare, I'm sure, looked up at the sky and prayed to God, like, just get me out of here. Just give me just an inch of room.
Yeah, short notice, and that was a good fight too.
And beat him striking. I mean, he beat him all over, but the fact that he could even deal with Jacare on the floor speaks volumes of how good his game is. And then Gastelum's a pretty good grappler himself, but he just got, it wasn't even close.
I know. I'm like, 10th Planet, you should be ashamed of yourselves right now. I'm like, oh shit. Because when he took it to the ground, I'm like, oh, come on. I don't think he wants to be here. And I'm like, oh shit, he submitted. I'm like, Eddie. Eddie Bravo.
Eddie's too busy looking at Epstein's case and Pizzagate and shit.
Crazy, man. Dude, what do you think it is with Gastelum, though? Is it the weight? Because he had weight issues again, right?
I thought they said that he was like actually in really good shape. That I mean, well, they said that he'd gained like 30 pounds because again, quarantine, mama's gonna feed you, you know. But I
Hmm.
think they said coming into fight week that like as far as the actual weight cut, there wasn't real issues.
Damn, man,
That
crazy.
I think Bisping, one of the commentators said something that this is probably some of the best shape he's been in a while. I don't know if they meant that just because it's an easy weight cut or he had a good training camp. I don't know, but yeah, I'm trying to think if Gaslam's ever been submitted or even finished because I don't think I've ever seen him get knocked out. I mean, he was close in the Izzy fight.
Mm-mm.
He lost to Magny, but that was a pretty close fight too. Like every fight I remember him losing has been close.
Yeah, well, I was looking at this too. I'm like, okay, so what's going on with these wins and losses? Well, the last three fights he's had, he's lost. Jack's 32, Darren's 27, and Izzy's 31. The last three wins he's had was Jacare, who's 40, this being 41, and then Tim Kennedy 40, which all three he kind of made a name off of because I mean they've been around for so long. So
Yeah,
is this the
damn,
thing where he can't keep up with the younger, like
damn.
better fighters? Am I saying this right? Like better fighters?
Well, you know what? It's kind of interesting you said that because it's not as drastic maybe, but I remember people started kind of realizing this with John Jones. I think when he fought Gustafson the first time. Yeah, of course, we all know he didn't take it seriously and he was very lucky to get away with that fight. But here's the thing with Gustafson, he was like an actual contender who was basically the same age, athletic, up and comer. Before that, all the guys that John Jones was facing were like aging legends. Shogun, Rampage, Rashad, Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, like good fighters, but they're kind of on their way out the door around that time. Gustafson was on his way up. So I don't think it was just a thing of that he didn't take it seriously. I think he also didn't take it seriously because it's like I beat all these legends. Why do I care about this fucking scrub? You know, he's barely beat a few guys. And then you look at afterwards, like of course he's had incredible performances, whether there was drugs involved or not. I mean, yeah, he's had good fights. But then you look at like some of the fights, some of his most boring fights or unimpressive fights, they're against guys, younger guys who pose a threat. Thiago Santos, although Smith didn't really do much, that was a bit of a not the greatest fight ever. You know, Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, Gustafson, you know, even DC, who's obviously a great fighter, but he's older. He was older even the first time they fought. You know, he beat the shit out of Toshera. He was older when he fought. OSP, boring ass fight, but he was a young guy. Like, I think he just has this thing with like young dudes. They just maybe gives them too much respect, or maybe they are just that tough because they're just crazy enough to risk it with them.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with him next. Like, I mean, if
Is
yeah, I guess he's fit. He's the best he's looked in this weight class, maybe. But maybe if he could, I don't know, be a little bit more disciplined, he can go back down again.
this is a 3 fight losing streak, right?
Yeah,
Izzy, Till, and now this, right?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah, and they're all the top fighters.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no point. I mean, either stick around and maybe take another loss and potentially get cut, or take it seriously, really work on the weight cut, especially now because he's 28, right?
I think
Work
so.
on it now.
Yeah, he's a few years younger than me, so yeah, I think 28 sounds good.
Yeah, so work on it now, get disciplined, and then go back down.
I wonder with Calvin if it's a mental thing too, because I mean everyone knows with Calvin, like he doesn't train all that hard sometimes. He doesn't keep his weight down. Like he's a bit of a fuck up, but he fights like a motherfucker. I really think he's just one of these guys that he's just go go go. Like, don't think about it, don't do it. Just when it comes time to fight, I can do it. He probably doesn't want to put a lot of work or a lot of thought into it. That's probably the way he performs best. Like, I would not be surprised if he comes out. I don't think he's going to say anything right now because fighters tend to be quiet. But maybe whenever his next fight rolls around, like, yeah, my problem with the Hermanson fight, I probably took it too seriously. Like, I was running every day and doing this and that. And I got in my own head too much. I've always kind of thought that's been the thing with Kelvin because he's such a good fighter and he's so ferocious and so exciting. But I think he doesn't want to think about it. He just gets in the moment and just does what he does.
Yeah.
I think like I see that it's a bit of a different thing, but like I kind of see that with Nunes too, Amanda Nunes. Like like you see with the Shevchenko fights, she trained like a soldier for those fights. And Shevchenko's very good too, so I'm not going to take anything away from her. But the thing is, like, she couldn't do much with her because she's so skilled. She had to mind all her P's and Q's. But like the Cyborg fight, of course, that's dangerous. But Cyborg brawls. She loves doing that shit too. So to her, that was just a picnic. And that's why she had the performance she did because she just went out there and had fun.
Yeah. I'm like looking at Calvin's like losses and wins, and he had a better run at welterweight.
Yeah, but he didn't always make weight. And I mean, remember with Woodley, 10 pounds?
I think
10 pounds. Granted, I think he was injured. I mean, that fight should have never even taken place, but props to Woodley. I still give props to Woodley for taking that fight. But
man, he needs to move away from his mom's. Sorry, kid, you gotta go, man. Like,
you can't take Mexicans away from their moms. It don't happen.
It gotta happen.
She'll find them. She'll find them somehow.
Huh? Like,
she has them chipped. She has them chipped.
She'll pop up out of nowhere, like, "Do you want some enchiladas?" Like, you hungry? You look hungry.
Like a magnetic force, man.
Right? Like, I can sense that you are hungry, mijo.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope we don't see Kelvin for a while. I think he's really got to reflect because I don't think it's ever been this bad. Like, okay, he's had some bad weight cuts. Maybe he wins, maybe he loses. Win one, lose one type thing, but it's never been like this. So
yeah, well, this and then just the marijuana incident like 2 times. That's another issue. He hasn't been disciplined with that either. So like, there's a couple things that he needs to work out.
Yeah. It's up to him now. Balls in your court, Kelvin. Balls in your court. Last up, the main event, Davison Figueiredo. There's like so much that happened and it was just so brutal. I don't know. I could say a lot, but I kind of just want to stay relatively quiet about it. But I guess I'll just ask this. The only thing that came to my mind as far as a challenger getting destroyed. I mean, they were both challengers because it was a vacant belt. But as far as a title fight where someone just got so thoroughly destroyed, the only time I can remember it being this, quite honestly, embarrassing, I think was Rousey Nunes. I mean, am I wrong? Can you think of another fight where someone they were out like immediately, like they had no chance?
God damn it. Yeah, now that you mention it.
I mean, of course, there's Aldo and Connor and even Rousey and a lot of her opponents and, Zingano and Davis. But I mean, the thing is with those people, it's like they're known for fast finishes. And the people that they were facing, like, okay, they're kind of going uphill. Well, not so much in the Connor fight, but you get my point. Like there was kind of a mismatch in some of those fights. And this one, it was a very tight, closely contested fight. It should have been on paper anyway. And it was just like from second one, you're in way over your head.
That's so sad, man.
And Benavidez, who's one of the best fighters under lightweight of all time. Like he's an all-time great if you look at the lighter weight classes. Like he's up there with Dominic Cruz and Aldo and and Holloway, of these great champions, these great guys at that weight class, at close to that weight class, and Figueiredo he just played with them.
That was sad, man. I was like, come on, just fight the hands. Come on, fight the hands.
Oh, he did.
Fight the hands, and then just over and over and over again. But no.
Is Figueiredo a jiu-jitsu guy? I mean, because he hits so hard that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a striker, but his jiu-jitsu is also so good that I wouldn't be surprised if he's some, like, Damian Maya BJJ prodigy or some shit.
Shit, I don't even know, man.
I think he trained capoeira, but I mean, he's Brazilian. What's the, it's like a Korean person training Taekwondo. Like, no fucking surprise, But he's so odd, man. When I was watching the fight, I was like, man, he holds his right hand like he has a gun in there. Like it's just always cocked and loaded. His right hand is just always ready to go, man. He's so fucking powerful. Oh my God, did he ever fight John Lineker? Because if that fight didn't happen, I would pay big money to see it happen.
Never fought him, but Tim Elliott, he did submit. That was October 2019. Let's see. And then the previous submission before that was in 2016. So he's been like finishing people with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's been finishing fools.
And to just like, and I think I want to say that was the first time that Benavidez had ever been submitted. Yeah, because I mean, he got knocked out by Demetrius. I guess technically got knocked out by Figueiredo in the first fight too. But yeah, he mollywopped him and submitted him. Like, that was, man. Yeah, and then of course the comments online are just like, and like, I get it. It was such a colossal ass beating, but like, you motherfuckers don't know who this guy is. Like, this guy's a legitimate badass, man. He's one of the best fighters, again, in that weight division. He's still clearly number 2, next to DJ.
I saw one Photoshop that disturbed me, and that was it. I was like, I don't care to see the rest of it. I don't care. Yeah, like, it's Figgy like sitting down or something, and it's the photo of Megan like trying to comfort Joseph, Benavidez, through the fence. She's like on her knees.
Uh-huh.
Well, they took that and then made it look like she's like sucking Figgy's cock.
Oh.
And I'm like, come on, man.
Oh, wow.
That's
wow.
Just crossing the line. Like, that's so fucked up. I mean, God damn.
And this is coming from a woman who goes by the Miriam Nakamoto sense of, you don't want to see your man get beat down. Even that's no. Yeah, I know. It's funny because I don't think we talked about it much when it happened, but you're right, because like, even you didn't send me no things of like, oh fuck, Benavidez fucked up. Like, I would have left his. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't say anything like that because you know who he is and you have that respect for him. Like, you don't need to prove anything to anybody of what a badass you are.
Disrespectful, man. That was wrong. I was like, nah, I don't want to see the rest. Like, if you can come out with that kind of shit, yeah, I don't want to see the rest. I don't want to see the rest of the bullshit that's going around, the disrespect and the shit talking to Megan. And
the main one I saw was when she posted her message of, I love my husband. He's the best man I ever met, and I'm so lucky to have him. It was just something like that, just total love and admiration for her husband. And someone put like, he needs to quit. We like, we don't want to be seeing him in the cage anymore. We like seeing you better. And they posted the picture of him bloodied up, getting choked unconscious by Figueiredo. Like, that was like the first response I saw immediately below her tweet. So yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, I kind of had the same feeling like you. Like, all right, I don't need to keep going down this rabbit hole.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Fucking losers, man. Dude. And I'm a guy who laughed at Jeremy Stevens telling a kid that he's gonna bury him next to his dead father.
Dude, I laughed at that too.
I'm sorry, I still laugh at that shit. Just because it's so outrageous,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And to be honest, not that it's right, but like a lot of little kids, you know, people come to Twitter and just try to act hard all the time too. And I'm not with that shit. Unfortunately, even if you're a child, sometimes you're gonna get fucking checked, man. But yeah, when it's people's loved ones, it's especially like Megan, it's like whether you like her or not, like we all see her, like she's part of the UFC, you know, and then yeah, Joseph just fighting as long as he has. I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's all like Connor noobs, you know. And in that case too, it's probably like there's kind of that beef too because of Connor and Uriah and all Cody and all that stupid shit that has gone on. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
They
at least we have
they definitely weren't watching WEC. You know, they're not that hardcore.
But yeah, we have a champion now, so at least there's that, even though I'm salty.
The most badass hairstylist of all time.
Seriously.
Did you know that?
I had no fucking clue.
Isn't that the
no clue? Why didn't they talk about that more?
Dude, that is some wacky shit, man. That is
right. Like, why don't they talk about that more? No wonder you'd be having like colorful hair, these unusual hairstyles, these hair looks.
Well, you know, his nickname's God of War, so that I mean, they've always talked that he was kind of like the video game Kratos. That
no, man, it's his hair.
Yeah, but I mean, he gets the hookup. Yeah, he gets the hookup.
It's like, no, do this, this, and this. No, you fucked up. Do it this way. Probably give him pointers and shit, or doing his own.
And that's what's funny. He's not a barber. He's a hairstylist.
Right?
For women. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. And I don't care. I'm not saying it's just this is purely anecdotal, and obviously it's kind of a stereotype, but this has just been my experience. Most of the time, like 99.9% of the time, you see a dude in a beauty salon, in a woman's salon, he's usually gay. And it's usually like quite obvious. It's very like, you know, kind of flaming. And this dude is like just one of the most badass fighters out there. I don't know if he's gay or not, and if he is, I don't care. It's just funny. It's just not the image you would get if someone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a hairstylist." You do not expect Davison Figueiredo.
No, and then show him like his last fight. Like you'll be like, "What? You do women's hair? What?"
I saw that. I forgot who had posted it. I saw a picture. I'm like, please tell me this is real. Someone's like, this is legit, dude. This is a day job. Like, this is incredible. And now I wonder if it's a thing with the UFC. Like, maybe they didn't want. I understand. Again, we've talked about this of just there's not really any promotion during pandemic because it's kind of hard. But still, like, I don't know how that's not intriguing. But I do wonder even if they did have proper promotion, like. Do the UFC not want to cover it because it's not quote unquote manly or something? You know what I mean? Like they might give him a weird look or something.
I don't know. They didn't want him to win,
or that too. Yeah.
Right? Because it's easier to promote Benavidez.
Like the Nunes Rousey thing. To go back to that, the non-promotion of Nunes.
So. Yeah. But yeah, interesting. Hopefully they'll cover that more next time.
Yeah. I want to know more about this guy. The fucking tremendous, man. Yeah, one of the most violent dudes in the UFC. That's the other thing. Is there a more violent dude in the UFC right now? Like the only things I can come up with, like in the past, has been maybe like Matt Brown in his prime. That's what he kind of reminds me of. Like, I can't think of a guy right now that, I mean, Gagey? I think he's the only one that comes close.
I think you're right, yeah.
Like, he's in high company, man. Gagey, Jan. Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Jan. Holy shit. That's... Man, I hope he keeps defending his. I hope they both keep defending their belts, and we can have this fucking.
Super fight.
Yeah, that's a legit super fight.
Yep.
And obviously, we know Figueiredo kind of has a tough time making weight, so maybe he does go up to 135 eventually anyway.
That would be interesting.
And I think Jan can keep it for a while too, man. I don't want to see them just their new champs, have them fight each other. Like, no, let them defend their belts, let them get a little bit of recognition, and then have them fight. My God.
I like that idea.
Well, we like to see things simmer, I know that's not really the case, especially during quarantine, but in a perfect world, that'd be great. But let's move on from that. That was the rewind of Fight Island card, and we're gonna get to the possibly final Fight Island card because that's what's scheduled, but obviously we don't know what's gonna happen with all the COVID stuff. But yeah, let's get into the preview for the next Fight Island card. First up, Betch Correia is going to fight Pannie Kianzad. This was rescheduled. I think it was originally supposed to take place on the Khabib Ferguson card. That never happened. Again, with all the travel restrictions and all that, Correia being in Brazil, and I think Pannie is in Europe. I think she's still in Sweden. I don't think that was ever able to happen. So obviously, Fight Island takes care of that. They're scheduled to fight now. And you know me, I don't say I mark out for Betch, but I know she's always the underdog, and I kind of tend to go for her because she's tricky. But I don't know. Kianzad she's not the best fighter in the world, and that's why I kind of think she might win because Correia tends to surprise, and this is a fight where she might not actually surprise.
God, you always something with you and Betch.
Dude, she's a weird fighter. She is a weird fighter. I mean, there's male fighters like this too. Like, why can't they figure them out? And I know that women ain't this dumb. I know that. I mean, especially in bantamweight, it's not like there's a ton of competition, but she just has a way. It's like she kind of reminds me of Bernard Hopkins in a way in boxing. You look at Bernard Hopkins, like there's nothing special about this guy. He doesn't really have power. He's not that fast. He's not that athletic. But he would just beat people up, and nobody knew why. It's just because he's clever. He's got tricks. And I think that's the thing with Correia. Like, she's not that technical, but she just has a way about her.
She's not technical at all. She's just a brawler. And if Pannie could just stay on the outside, just pop her a few times, maybe even head kick her.
Women can't resist, though. It's like a moth to a flame. I guess women can't resist in the same way that guys can't resist if they're behind Betch.
It's the same game plan. It's the same shit.
She figures it out, though. She wins.
Like, why do you even allow her to do that? Like, she wants to make it dirty. She wants you to get close.
I mean, we were kind of saying the same thing about Ronda for a long time too, though. I mean, up until Holly, that's what every woman did. They just went to the center and just started duking it out with her, even though they knew this couldn't be the right game plan. But at least with Ronda, I kind of got the sense of like, this is the champion. You got to take it to her. You got to take the belt. You can't just fuck around. Like, I at least got where they were coming from, even though I knew it wasn't the smartest thing. But with Betch, it's like they just. Yeah, they to use a word from previous, they get entangled with her.
It's just funny. Well, I want to pick Pannie.
Are you really gonna make me do this, Reen?
Yeah. I mean, I hope she gets it done. Like, come on. There's enough tape to let you know. I mean, you don't even have to watch any previous fights. Just look at her arms. You're good.
Okay, I don't think I've ever asked this. I know this doesn't have a lot to do with the fight, but now just because I'm curious and I'm hearing something similar from another fighter that you talk about. What were you saying or thinking, or if you even watched when Betch fought Holly? Were you like ripping your hair out?
Yes, I was ripping my hair out before that fight even happened. When they announced it, I'm like, why? She's just gonna get head kicked, and it happened. I'm like, why?
Well, that's all that happened. Like nothing else happened.
Yeah, I'm like, why? She's short. All she has to do is just kick her. She's short. She has short arms. Holly's gonna be like fighting like T-Rex.
So you just saw that as a mismatch, just
yeah, completely. Like, why?
Yeah. So you knew, even though they were both predictable, like in this scenario, Holly's gonna win. Doesn't matter that they both do the same thing.
I'm like, she's so short, just head kick her. She doesn't even have to try that much. She doesn't have to get up there, and she did. She asked for it. Betch asked for it. That was the funny part. I'm like, you idiot.
So did you get any joy out of that one?
Oh God, yes.
You're actually like happy for Holly for once.
Yeah, for once I was, because I was like, yep, I called it.
I still make the argument that Holly was losing that fight before the fucking head kick. No, I mean nothing was happening, but Betch did a little bit more than Holly. I think she was winning.
Sad, man.
I mean, remember the ref had right before the head kick. She had to tell him like, "Fucking do something, both of you."
Yeah, it was a bad fight. It was so horrible.
But a great finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had to Annie.
It's not that easy, Reen. Not everyone's got Holly's legs and dexterity.
She got the big ass dome too. She's short arms and a big ass dome.
Her body's just built weirdly, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big ass dome. Can't miss.
Okay. Now just because of all the jokes and shit, and I'm gonna just go with Betch, and I think it's just gonna be boring as hell. I don't know. I'm not expecting much now, but just because you went with Panny, I had to go with Betch now. So, yeah, that's that. That's on the prelim portion of the night. So now we're getting to the main card, and we're gonna start with Carla Esparza and Marina Rodriguez, another rescheduled fight. I think this was supposed to take place just a few weeks ago, but Marina Rodriguez's coach, one of her coaches, had tested positive, and I guess she didn't want to fly out without him, so they figured they just postponed it. So we were excited about this fight when it first got announced, and I mean, we didn't expect it to take place here and now, but I don't know if anything's really changed. I said when the fight first got announced that I expected Rodriguez to beat Esparza down, but I don't know. I mean, Esparza's kind of been looking good in her past two fights. I still think Rodriguez can do it, but I don't know. Esparza surprises from time to time too.
I think she's gonna have a tough time taking Marina down. I think she's gonna have a hard time. She's probably gonna get pieced up.
I can see that. Esparza's just a crafty wrestler sometimes. I don't think she gets enough credit for the wrestling sometimes.
I know, and that's gotten better too. I mean, she's always been good at it, but that's always, that's gotten better.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, because you're right. Because you think, given her background, she'd be one of those like, I already wrestled my whole life. I don't have to improve on it. But she has. I mean, you look like the Alexa Grasso fight. Her wrestling looked better in that fight than it had in like previous fights before that.
So I wonder, if she's going to just stick with the same game plan and Marina is going to just avoid that. I think she's stronger too. I mean, her size difference, like 3 inches, I think. And she also has a reach too.
Marina's a big girl for the weight too. She's pretty big, strong as hell. And then Esparza's always been short for the weight. Always.
So, yeah, I got my eye on Marina.
I think if I didn't say this, I definitely thought it, but fuck it, I'll say it now if I didn't. Yeah, if Esparza's on, I think it can be competitive, and at that point, it might be a 50-50. But I'm just going to go on my hunch and say Marina's going to be on, and she's going to win. And I think it'll be kind of reminiscent of the Joanna fight, Joanna and Esparza. She's not going to be able to take her down, and yeah, you're right, probably just get pieced up. Because Marina kind of has that style. She's just a little meaner.
Right.
Ferocious.
Yeah.
But we'll
And
see. The stuff with her coach too, though. Who knows? I mean, who knows if that probably fucked with her too. That's probably why I'm giving Esparza a little bit more of a chance.
yeah, and the last couple fights Esparza has had, like it matched well with her.
That I was kind of gonna mention that too. Like, I wish I could take something away from the Michelle Waterson fight, but I don't even remember it. Like, nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even people were saying that Waterson should have won that fight, but that could have been just the fanboys. I can't even remember enough to like tell you that, oh, that's a valid argument.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but still, given all that, still going with Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, Esparza, like.
Sparta.
I mean, that is. She shouldn't have been in the first place because Cynthia should have won that fight against her.
Against Marina?
No. Esparza.
Damn, that was what?
I'm still hating on that.
That was what? Fucking 3 years ago? Jesus Christ.
I'm still hating on that. I haven't forgotten about that.
Damn, you are a Calvillo stan, huh?
Yes, I am.
I don't know what it is about Calvillo. I just couldn't get into her. Like, I liked her in the beginning, and then, I don't know, that fight, I don't know. Something weird happened. I got very drunk that night. I fucking, like, puked all over the floor. That was a weird night for me. I got blackout drunk, which I never, ever do. That fight and the Conor Khabib fight is when I got, like, blackout drunk. Weird times. Anyway, enough about all that. Next fight. Alexander Gustafsson has come back out of retirement, and he's moving up to heavyweight to fight Fabricio Verdum.
Why? This is such a bad move.
What, on Gustafsson's part?
This just doesn't seem right, yeah.
I mean, okay, is it a bad move because he's fighting Verdum, or is it a bad move just that he's going up in weight?
Both.
You don't think he could do good at heavyweight? Just in general, against.
I question it because I mean mainly maybe because of his departure, just the way he left. Maybe that's the reason why I'm like I think this is a bad idea. Because I'm wondering like where his head is at, and then now he's going to be moving up to heavyweight.
See that I think.
Wow.
I think all the doubts you have is all the reasons I kind of believe in him.
Well, it's just the size difference.
I mean, definitely 6'5".
Well, just right. The height though, but width, like girth, like stockiness. He's a tall, skinny, lanky guy. The speed will definitely be there. Yeah, the speed for sure will be there, but how is that going to translate with someone like Verdum?
Well, Verdum's not the fastest guy, especially post USADA.
No, he's not. He's not. But power, his strength, and then God knows what he was doing anyways. It's like it just seems like a bad idea. He got busted for shit. They're not even testing properly in the first place. And then you agree to this guy? Just doesn't sound right to me, man. I hope he's getting paid a lot of money to do this.
Well, on the money angle, I have no fucking idea because, I mean, Dana seems to like Gustafsson, but I think only when he fights John Jones. I mean, I don't know how much he actually cares about him or that thinks he's an actual star or nothing, but I think I disagree here. I think all the reasons why you doubt him is the reasons I believe in him. Like, I think Gustafsson's a very emotional guy. I think that's why he lost to John Jones the second time. Don't get me wrong, John Jones did good, and then again, we don't know what the fuck he was on. But regardless of that, I think that's kind of why he probably got dominated by John Jones as he did. I mean, come on, remember, they moved the fight in a week's fucking notice just because of his bullshit. I think he went into that fight emotional. I don't see how you couldn't. You know, the shit that he was saying too. Remember, he even got fined because of that fucking shirt. Like, he just gave no fucks that week. And then with Anthony Smith, it was in his hometown. And I think in his home in Stockholm, he's gone like 2-2. I think it's one of those like he's either on or he's not, and then when he's not, he gets his ass beat. So he just said, "Fuck it." I mean, he cried the first time when Rumble knocked his ass out, and that was like in front of 30,000 people, which I don't begrudge him for. And then to get stopped by Smith in a fight like that, I think he's just an emotional guy. I think he needed a reset, and I think going up in weight is probably the way he thinks it'll. He doesn't have to worry about cutting weight. Doesn't have to worry about that aspect of fighting. He can just go in there and fight, just be himself.
Yeah, I don't even know what's up with Verdum. Like this, I think this is his last fight on the contract. So he's like,
Really?
yeah, I think so. I just want to get this shit done and be out.
I missed that.
So I think I'm not even sure how seriously he's taking this. He's probably just want to fight, get some cash, and take off. Maybe I have no idea. This is such an odd fight.
And stylistically, it doesn't excite you, like Verdum's grappling with Gustafsson striking, like nothing does nothing for you.
It's just odd, man. Like
Verdum's
been gone for 2 years.
Well, he fought Olenek. Remember, he fought Olenek like 3-4 months ago.
Oh yeah, that's true. But still,
he lost. But
and then Gus is coming back, and he has 2 losses already. Just weird fight, man. I'll go with Gus. Just speed wise.
Yeah.
I wonder if speed will win here. Speed versus power, really.
Yeah, even then, I don't think Verdum's as powerful as I think. Come on, he fought fucking Rumble. He's fought Glover. He's fought, Jimmy Manuel. He's faced big hitters before. I don't think those guys hit that much harder or that much. That
wars though.
Yeah, but it's been over a year since he last fought. I think the time off has done him good. I don't like it when guys come in, get into wars and try to take a fight in 3 months. Like
he still had wars. And that in his previous division, he still had them.
I don't remember when this fight was announced because honestly, up until yesterday, I didn't even remember this fight was even happening. I kind of do wonder with Gus if COVID has something to do with it, like just the pandemic in general. Because let's be honest, it's gotten into a lot of people's minds. It's kind of made a lot of people introspective, and I wonder. It's interesting too because he's from Sweden and they never even did a lockdown, so he didn't have some of the issues that we had here of just being stuck at home. But maybe just seeing what's going on around the world, just in general, is just like, man, maybe I need to do what I love, my passion of fighting, just in general.
Dude, at first I didn't care about this fight, but now I'm kind of interested. I just want to see what's up. I just want to see how.
So many questions. Yeah, like you're right. So many questions, but that's why I want to watch it.
Yeah, like I at first I was like, I don't want to watch this freak show. Fuck this. Now I kind of want to see it because that kind of tells us like, okay, how would John Jones do if he moves up? And that kind of opens that conversation up too. So.
Well, we've always had that conversation.
But now we really get to see somebody go up and actually have like talk about it after it's done. Like, okay, here it is.
Well, OSP went up, and remember, he almost, and I know he's not the best guy, but he almost beat what's his name, Rothwell.
That's Rothwell.
I don't think Rothwell is that much of a level above or below Verdum, especially now.
Oh, Verdum was a title holder.
Yeah, but that was a different
OSP got close one time.
Yeah. Rothwell almost got close too. He was like close to being a title contender. Then he lost to Santos.
And Gus was there. How many times? And so it's like they have that dynamic too.
Mm-hmm. You're right. They're closely matched, maybe in terms of accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
Championship, near champions. Yeah, yeah. I'll go. I'm with you. I'll go with Gustafsson. I'll go with Gustafsson here. Yeah, I think speed can make a difference, and I think he'll carry over power. I don't know how much weight he used to cut to get down to light heavyweight, but given his size and just the fact that he's a fucking Swede, I'm sure he's a heavy dude. So him not having to cut weight, I'm very interested to see what he's gonna weigh in at. Actually, if he weighs in like 240, we know this is probably a good move because he was probably cutting like 30, 40 pounds to do that shit. Uh, the co-main event, Little Nog is gonna fight Shogun for a third goddamn time. And when the second fight happened, I said, "Well, fuck it." They just want to say, "Well, someone's gonna die. Let them do it." Now, I can't even make that joke anymore because, I mean, why? The way this is the real why. This is the fight. Why?
I don't know who to pick here. It's so hard to decide. And I'm totally fucking kidding. Like, why? I didn't care to see it in 2015. I didn't care to see it. It was on the Rousey card when Rousey went to Brazil. Maybe Brazilians were happy to see it. I didn't care. I didn't care at the time. I still don't care.
I think Little Nog said that this is his last fight, or
I hope
one
so.
of his last fights. Shogun, I wish said the same thing, but I know Little Nog did.
Well, I hope so, because I was hoping back in 2015 it was the end for him.
Yeah.
So,
Here's the thing. I mean, the first fight is a legitimate classic. It is it's probably in my top 10 favorite MMA fights of all time. But that was 15 fucking years ago.
and then the fight before that was 5 years ago. What's changed other than they got older? Oh, worse. I was gonna say older.
Remember how shitty the last fight was? We're gonna see it again, but shittier.
God damn it, man.
And I don't think that fight was shit. Honestly, I don't think I've ever watched it. I think I stepped out that night. I watched the Rousey Correa fight and all that. I watched all the fights, but I stepped out for that fight for some goddamn reason, and I never bothered. Like, oh, let's see what I missed. I just remember. I think Shogun won, but most people think he didn't. I don't even remember what the result was, but yeah, I think that's why they're having the rubber match because they're 1-1. But at this point, yeah,
No.
Oh man.
I mean, are they trying to ramp up to the main, or are they trying to like put people to sleep before the main?
I think it can be. I'm not gonna say exciting, but I think it can be violent. I think that they still got power. They still can throw.
Oh God, man.
I just don't expect it to be technical or sound or. Yeah. Yeah, I will go with Shogun only because I was a diehard Shogun fan. He's actually probably one of the first guys that got me into MMA like that, like hardcore. So I'll go with Shogun just out of loyalty, I guess. He was like my original favorite fighter.
I'm just gonna go with Shogun because, I mean, come on, history.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's that. That's the co-main, so time to get to the main event. Darren Till and Robert Whittaker. See, on this end of the spectrum, this is just pure dynamite. Whittaker coming off of his loss to Izzy, losing his title. Till coming off a win of Gaslam. Not very impressive win of Gaslam, mind you. I don't know. I actually haven't put a lot of thought into this fight, like almost at all. I have no idea how this will go.
I'm not sure either.
I know a lot of people kind of say with Till that he's overrated and the UFC pumps him up a lot, but I don't know if it matters here. I mean, he's still a dangerous striker no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah. And this is what, maybe his. Is this his third time main eventing?
Till
5 rounds? Yeah. Third
he
time?
main evented Cowboy. He main evented with Wonder Boy,
With
with
Woodley?
Woodley, and yeah, now this. So
This is
fourth.
his fourth one. Okay. Huh. I'm not sure, man. Because that Wonder Boy fight, he barely made weight. Or no, he missed weight, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a pound over. Yeah.
He missed weight. It was in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
The Woodley fight, he got choked out. Masvidal fight, he got knocked the fuck out. Then he had the split with Kelvin. And now he's gonna fight Whitaker.
If I remember correctly, I think he was, at least from what I remember, I think that he beat Kelvin pretty convincingly. I just remember it wasn't that exciting, so I don't know. Maybe that's the whole reason of the split. There's not a lot of action, but.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember that was the whole thing that he got there a day before the fight and barely like.
That's true, huh? Because he also had visa,
the legal issues, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even really begrudge him for that one too much.
I just wonder how he's gonna fare with Whitaker for 5 rounds.
I think a big X factor for me in this is I wonder how, not that Whitaker is lacking for motivation, but exactly that. I wonder how motivated he is. I wonder how pissed he is. I wonder how, like, what if he's been training like a madman trying to get a rematch with Izzy. I don't remember when it started, but all the rumors and all this stuff with his kid. Remember, he's pulled out of a few fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody knows what's going on with that. So I don't know. Maybe I wonder if he's in the right headspace too. I think it's this type of shit that really makes me wonder about him.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen him.
What, October when he got knocked out by Izzy? So it's been 9 months, which is good that was a pretty brutal knockout. So I'm glad he took the time off. But if he's having these issues at home with family issues or stuff with his kids, like, I mean, that's scary. That especially if it's like health stuff, and then, well, COVID doesn't help with that probably. If it is these things that people are saying.
You know what, man? I think I'm gonna go with Whitaker because I'm not sure about Darren. I don't know how seriously he's like taking this. I don't know which Darren's gonna show up. The one that like almost pulled out of the Kelvin Gastelum fight, or the one that wants to really fight so he can get to the belt.
I really think Till's he's just humbled himself. I really think him being at this weight class, I think, actually, just in saying this, I've now made my choice. I'm going with Whitaker too, but it's not that I don't think that he's confident. It's not that I don't think that he has the abilities to beat Whitaker, but I think the reason he's had this like shift in his demeanor is because I think he kind of realized that at welterweight, not that he wasn't a good fighter, not that he's not skilled, not that he couldn't beat a lot of guys there, but I think probably the Woodley fight taught him that, honestly, he's a bit of a bully. I mean, he's one of the biggest guys in that division, and that's what he had going for him. Yeah, of course, he had the striking, and he's a dangerous guy, but the fact that he was so big was one of the things that got him, like, I think kind of got people to respect him off the bat. He doesn't have that at middleweight. So I think he's like in his own head now that he's like, all right, I can't rely on strength and power. I got to be technical, and I got to have a sound game plan. So that's probably why he's not I'm the greatest ever and all this shit that he's been saying, that I think he got humbled because he had to, because he realized like it's fucking tough up here.
I think you're right. Somewhat, yeah. I think you're right about that because I think he mentioned something about he before he really didn't care. He was just ready to fight. He had like this chip on his shoulder or something. He mentioned something like that.
I mean, especially with the way he talks, it kind of reminds me of like Connor when he lost to Nate Diaz. There was a big shift in Connor after he lost to Nate because it was like, yeah, he kind of said the same thing. Like, I was kind of like, I'll take on all comers. I don't give a fuck. I can beat all their asses. And then he lost and he realized, like, oh shit, I got to take it seriously. Like, I got to actually train for my opponent. I can't just like treat them all the same. I have to like have techniques and tactics and shit like that. So I think he's like, coming from a similar headspace too, probably. So, yeah.
Yep. I'm still gonna go with Whitaker though.
Yeah, me too. Because yeah, like I said, I think it's probably been a mental thing with Till, and
Yeah.
I expect him to give a good fight because of that. I think he'll have a good game plan and stuff, but I still think Whitaker's gonna take it. But I'm just not 100% sure because again, he may have issues at home that nobody really knows about. So all the best to Whitaker regardless. But let's move away from the preview and let's move on to some headlines.
Hold on 1 second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back.
All good?
Yep.
Okay. No worries. Okay. So first headline. The Nevada State Athletic Commission will no longer be disclosing fight purses. This is for MMA and boxing. What I can gather, it was a very long, very technical, jargon heavy, political speak article about what was going on. But from what I gathered, it looks like there's some shady shit going on here.
Like what kind of shady shit?
Well, from what I saw, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, one of the people in charge, one of the head people in the Nevada Commission is someone that knows the Fertitas. I guess they have a history. And I think this person used to work with them at Station Casinos and was kind of like a higher up and is now with the commission.
Okay.
Yeah. And apparently this isn't new. Like they've been talking about this for like over a year or two. They just got put into action right now. And I guess this is the first time in like almost 20 years that they do anything like this. This has been public knowledge for a while. And the thing is too, I mean, remember the MMA is a pretty new sport. Nevada's always first and foremost been about boxing, and boxing has the Muhammad Ali Act, which asked for a lot of transparency. So this is why they were disclosing purses, because the more knowledge, the better for the fighters in boxing. And it just carried over in MMA. But now they're going to close both of these, the public knowledge of the purses. And especially with how many fights happen in Nevada, Man, I mean, we're gonna miss out on a lot of information. The only other commissions that I know for a fact disclose are California and Georgia, and there may be one or two other states that do it, but those are the only ones. Like, we put a gun to my head, those are the only ones that I could tell you for sure disclose purses. I think Ohio may be in there too, but with how many fights that happen in Nevada, and then in boxing's case, and I guess in the UFC's case, New York, I mean, that's kind of all they need. I mean, there's a lot of fights that take place in California too, but if that's the thing, if they don't really want to disclose purses, maybe they'll just take more fights to Nevada or take more fights to New York and avoid this shit. Especially with the UFC, but that's their backyard.
That's, huh. That's, I don't know. I don't know what to think, what to make of it. Because when I was first reading about it, I'm like, well, then does that mean that the managers will have to work harder to get money for their fighters and do a little bit more research? I mean,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
that's the only way, right? Because you can't go by like, okay, well, this guy made this much last time and this many buys, and
I
it's
mean, we
like,
don't even know what the buys. We haven't known for a while, especially with the ESPN deal.
right. But maybe the managers know because they have to negotiate whatever buys and how much that is. Like they know all that, but the fighters themselves just watching it or maybe wanting to get into the sport or whatever the case. It's like there's no way of really looking at it to see if there's like an incentive to go after it, right?
There was this weird example too by this person, the one I said that's connected to the Fertitas in some way,
Mm-hmm.
was making this argument that went with Mayweather and McGregor, that fight, that there was some kind of issue in disclosing those salaries and that they shouldn't have done it because it was a unique situation of an MMA fighter and a boxer. And I guess what they're trying to say is that like this gives a skewed view to like boxers and MMA fighters, like, oh well, they made $100 million. Why can't I do that? And that's not exactly accurate because this was like a once in a lifetime type fight. But I don't know how people don't understand that. Like, I'm pretty sure Dana or Bob Arum or any promoter can be like, some random fighters like, oh, I'm asking for 10 million because Connor got this and that. It's like, do you realize how monumental that fight was? You're really gonna put yourself to that level? Do you think you're on that level of Mayweather McGregor? That
Hmm.
was one of the arguments that was said.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't get it. We've had it for so long. It's just why, change it now? Because of the Ali Act?
Well, that's the thing. You can't really do much about the Ali Act as far as boxing goes. So that's why I'm interested. I wonder if boxers or managers, someone in the boxing world, will sue or will do something to try and retract this.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand this angle. And it's only in Nevada. I don't get it.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I
they're prize fighters. They're prize fighters. They're called out for a reason, and they announce the purses. It's all part of it. You can't remove that. Like it's it goes hand in hand now. It's so odd to me.
it's definitely odd given in this case the possible connections between Fertitas and people in the commission, and yeah, just the lack of transparency and a lot of stuff. But yeah, it looks like it's going into prize fighting now too. And then just payouts during lockdown, during the COVID era. Like, I don't know. Obviously, it raises questions. Like, you're going to try and use this to like suppress wages or suppress salaries, if you want to say that, because you can't be like, oh, well, Amanda Nunes made this much, and that was during lockdown and this and that, and now they can just be like, hey, times are tough, take it or leave it. That's what I think, but obviously, I'm not. I don't have I don't have real evidence to back that up. It just seems like logical conclusion.
Yeah, it's so odd. Like, there's no way to fight for more money. It's just, okay, we'll negotiate, see what I can get. But you can't figure out like what the average is. I don't get it. How can you negotiate?
Yeah, especially like I'm not too worried about the main eventers in this. I'm more worried for like the mid card guys because those are the ones that, like mid card and like entry level guys. Like those are the ones that really don't know where they stand.
Mm-mm.
Masvidal knows where he stands. Nate Diaz knows where he stands. Connor, Khabib, they all know where they stand. But Brandon Moreno, you know what I mean? Like these types of dudes, like where do they stand?
Yeah, it's just weird. It's so odd.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what comes of this. I don't think many good things will come, but I have to take a wait and see approach. Next up, some news was made about Jorge Masvidal. He went on this guy Dan Levitard. He's a radio show host, and I didn't listen to the interview, but I read excerpts. I read, I think, the main parts. It got real political apparently, and I don't know what people's reactions have been to this. Obviously, you guys have heard the show long enough. You kind of know things we've said politically and whatnot, but I thought this was interesting to highlight because Jorge Masvidal's. I remember people were very surprised when he supported Trump. I was only surprised in the fact that he was vocal about it. Knowing enough Cubans in my life, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that surprised because that's kind of the way they tend to go. I personally think he sounded somewhat reasonable, not because I approve of Trump or I believe shit that Jorge Masvidal is saying. He's actually kind of tame compared to a lot of Cubans that I've met politically. But what did you think of this, Reen?
That he needs to do his homework on some of the topics that were brought up. I mean, because it just, you can't be like, well, that's what the media is saying and this and that, and I don't always believe in it. But no, I believe this person, even though I didn't do my research. I'll get back to you on it though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Oh, in America, you could.
Well, right? Well, you shouldn't be able to do that. Like, you should be able to do your homework and figure this out. I don't care how old school you are. Now is the time to really start doing your research and figuring out what you need to do to take care of yourself. Because the government's not going to do that for you. You know, they're not there for you. So, yeah, it got political. It didn't get heated. They were cool.
I did not think a guy with the name of Dan Levitard would be Cuban, but Ted Cruz is also Cuban, and his actual name is Rafael. So I guess Cubans have a habit of doing this. I don't fucking know. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's just not really informed.
well, he said so as much. Like, I'm not a healthcare expert, I'm not an immigration expert, but this is just kind of what I think and kind of how I feel. And I think there's also a lot of feeling in that. I'm not saying this to a man. This has just been my experience with a lot of Cubans and their beliefs. It's very intuitive. emotional at times because of where they came up from. It's not a surprise that they're not trusting of Democrats. They fled a far leftist communist country. Once anybody starts saying anything of let's take money and give it to people, their ears perk up and say, fuck no. That's exactly what I escaped. So most of them don't trust Democrats at all. So they automatically kind of go right wing. But that's the thing, is that they kind of go down the line right wing on everything and can be kind of extreme sometimes. The one thing I will say is just as a personally, one that I found kind of interesting was his comments about immigration. He said, that he thinks that all immigrants should be treated with respect, whether they're documented or undocumented. But he does believe in rule of law and that there's laws in this country and you just can't let people in willy-nilly, which honestly I think is a stance that many Americans have, even on the left, right and left. I don't think that was that extreme of a stance. But I always do find funny, I always find immigration talk funny from Cubans, because up until 2016, they had immunity. Not granted to make that trip, that 90-mile trip from Cuba to Florida, is no picnic. And in my book, you deserve your freedom. You deserve citizenship if you do that. If I was president, I would do that too. But it always just kind of sounded funny to me that immigrants have this hard stance on immigration when they're the only ones that get free papers.
I don't know. I mean, he kept on mentioning his dad. So his father's experiences and his experiences are different. So I wish he'd do some more research before he actually spoke on this. And this interview was almost an hour long.
He talked about that too, that he said that he tends to listen to his elders. Like anytime there's older people in the room, that he'll listen to them before people his own age. So, yeah, I mean, he said as well that he wasn't exactly the most informed on all this stuff, like you said earlier. But that's the other thing, Reen, is that a lot of people just the same way that Masvidal's thinking is not just Cubans. It's a lot of people have that mindset, right or left. Like, all right, this is kind of what I think and feel, so I'm kind of just gonna go with that.
It's crazy to me, man. Especially now, just the way things are. You really need to be informed.
Here's the other thing that I found interesting: his comments on racism, about police brutality and racism and all that. Actually, maybe do you know if I know his dad fled? Did he flee Cuba too? Is Masvidal an immigrant?
No, I thought it was just his dad and his mom.
Yeah, because if he's not, that would make a little bit more sense. But yeah, either way, even you don't have to flee to Cuba to have this type of mindset. But just wondering. But I did find interesting some of his comments about race and police brutality and the stuff going on right now. He doesn't find Trump racist, and he thinks that he's helping his people out. I'm assuming Hispanics, which obviously a lot of people disagree with, and I kind of tend to be one of those people. But I do find it funny that he was saying it's not that I don't believe in racism. I've experienced it myself, and if you think I'm racist just for supporting Trump, then I don't, you're wrong. I do find it funny, and I don't know how much he knows about this, but Cubans have a very interesting take on the racism angle, because and again, their whole distrust of government in general stems from their history. Obviously, they're people now, for the most part, fled Fidel. Those are the people that came to Florida, got their papers and all that. They're fleeing communism. They're fleeing Fidel. But what a lot of people don't know is before Fidel, there was another dictator in place who was a capitalist, who was also installed by the United States, and a lot of police brutality, a lot of beatings and killings of especially black people happened in Cuba all the time before the communist revolution happened. That was a big thing of why it happened. The same thing that's happening right now, these injustices are a big reason of why the Cubans revolted. That and the US just having a stronghold on their economy, and just it was just like a puppet state of theirs. So they wanted independence, and they didn't want to get, beaten and fucking abused by the police and the military, especially with the minorities. So they revolted. So I do find those comments interesting about race with Masvidal. I don't know whether he knows that or not, but I always do find it funny when Cubans talk about race in that way too, because the shit that's happening right now, especially with older Cubans, they've probably seen it, or at the very least they know about it. And that's the thing that people wonder why Fidel was praised sometimes during his life. Even some Cubans that praise him was because he fought against racism, like actual institutional racism. Obviously, what took place and what happened in its place, communism, wasn't exactly great. But just for that stance, a lot of people paid him respect.
Well, it was an interesting interview, but I wasn't able to finish it. So if anybody else listened to it, yeah, straight up, like, you're brave for continuing to listen to it, because once it got like kind of like argumentative, I'm like, I can't. I don't want to listen to this anymore. And kind of like changed my viewpoint on how I see like Jorge too. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, man, come on. You can't be this naive. Like, you don't believe that our president isn't racist? You don't believe that our president isn't sexist? Like, really? With things that's been going on in the past few months, like, you don't see any of this?
I'm telling you, Reen, this is like standard Cuban Republican responses. Like, this is like nothing new. Like, this is like most of them from what I've seen, from
See,
what I've experienced.
maybe that's what needs to change now, especially now. Like, a lot of people are starting to wake up. I mean, you would think he would.
No, they'll tend to double down.
Crazy. It's so insane to me, man.
Again, they see what's happening. Like, especially with the older folks. Like, I'm not saying that all older Cubans are racist, and there's plenty of black Cubans here too. But the thing is, like, they've seen this happen before. It's like there was an uprising in Cuba, a lot to do with racial injustice, and what took its place was communism. Of course, they're fearful that that's what's going to happen here too. It's not so much about common sense and doing your research and all that. It's a feeling with them because they don't want history to repeat itself.
That's understandable, but
And that's the thing is, like, sometimes you can't reason with people, not because they're hard headed. No, it's a trauma. Honestly, it really is a trauma. You and I haven't lived through communism. They have. That's the thing. Like, I honestly, if I've never said this on the show, I used to be a communist when I was in high school. I was like pretty hardcore about it. I know a lot of Cuba's history because of that, because I was entrenched in this shit. And as I got older and actually met Cubans, it was interesting, like how like aggressive they were, and I was like, what's the big deal? Like, this is, and then I realized, like, well, they suffered through it. You didn't. It's gonna be triggering for them. Doesn't mean that they're right, but at least you can respect where they're coming from because they know something you don't.
Yeah. And see, this is what also troubled me too. Like, he was talking about, oh yeah, like, just because I'm not black or whatever. Like, he's like, you don't think that people have stopped me? You don't think I got stopped by cops? I got stopped by cops plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
In my neighborhood, I got stopped because of the way I look, the tattoo on my neck. It's happened to me. I've been treated this way. But I was thinking too, though, it's like, yeah, that's what you experienced. You experienced that here in the United States. But your dad experienced a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So,
Sure, way worse.
like,
And
come on.
with his dad,
Yeah. It's
secret
like,
police, communist police, everybody snitching.
I mean, you got roughed up, but you were let go. You know what I mean? Like,
I did not expect you to say this. This is fucking crazy. With
well,
all
because,
the no, but you're right. I'm not saying this to make fun of you. You're right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, it's all about perspective.
yeah, like your dad, like, I guess he was part of some like anti like communist, group too. Like,
Yeah.
he was against all that too, and he was going through some troubles because of his, standpoint. But that's totally different than what you experienced, Jorge. You're in America. You're allowed to fight backyard brawls and make some cash and do whatever you want to do. It's completely different. So it's like you have these opportunities to look up what's going on, to do your research and educate your kids. But no, he's not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is one of those things. Agree to disagree. I'll say this: I've known plenty of Mexicans who have way harder beliefs than him, and it's not a thing of they will not hear you out. At least he seemed. I didn't hear the interview. I just read the extras, as I said. But he at least seemed like, look, this is just what I believe. If you believe it, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. I've met my own kind. The people that apparently Trump hates the most, that are like, fuck the Democrats, and Trump's actually doing good, and like all the shit he's saying, but louder and la 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 la, they're not gonna hear you back. So that's what I'm saying. Like, given what I've experienced and what I've seen, this is actually pretty tame. But again, we live in troubling times. I actually kind of appreciated, not that I agreed with him almost at all, but I at least appreciated his viewpoint because he was being respectful, which is a thing that most people are not fucking doing today. So I'll give him at the very least credit for that.
Yeah, he was cool about it. Because I guess like, Dan was like, I don't know if we need to cut ties or whatever, like, because he was talking about it on his other show, if they were going to end up doing that or not, because of Jorge's, viewpoints.
Oh, well, yeah, see, that's the thing. If he's gonna, obviously he didn't get duped into that. If he's gonna be that vocal about it, fuck it, let him. He will gain probably a bunch of supporters because they support Trump too. Of course, there'll be detractors, but even then, I don't think detractors are a real thing in MMA because you can't cancel people in MMA. If that was the case, Greg Hardy would have been gone a long fucking time ago.
Right.
But no, you cheer for them to lose. And in that case, I wasn't expecting to make the segue, but it segues brilliantly into this. Gervonta Davis is going to fight Leo Santa Cruz. That's going to be headlining a pay-per-view, I believe, sometime in September. And I think this is going to happen at the Mohegan Sun, which is where Bellator is taking place. To go from MMA to boxing and the whole canceling thing, Gervonta Davis just assaulted his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, a few months ago, in public, on tape. We've all seen this. And he's getting a headlining spot, a pay-per-view spot nonetheless, against a real good dude, a real promising dude in Leo Santa Cruz. It should be a great fight. But all this stuff that we say in MMA about promoting pieces of shit like Greg Hardy and all these troubling characters in MMA, they're in boxing as well. And people like Bob Arum like to have this moral high ground of, oh, we don't have all these racist fans and sexist fans and yada yada yada. Yet this is the shit that they're promoting as well. I just found it kind of ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, talking all this shit about how the UFC is throwing fights and during the pandemic and this and that, and this whole Davis issue, what happened right when COVID started to hit. So I think people just maybe forgot about it.
I mean, yeah, so much shit has happened, right?
Yeah, it's just forgot about what happened, and I guess there was a longer video on it too. There was like altercations after they left the court. Going towards the locker room, there was another like long video of it, and I guess she stepped up to him during that video. I'm not condoning what Davis did was right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like there was additional evidence that was presented, and he got charged with like simple battery or something. But yeah, it just people just stopped talking about it and forgot about it. So, hey man, he's back. He's gonna make his money and probably make Mayweather happy too, right?
I don't know if there's still Mayweather is like, oh my god, this is the next guy, and then like a year later disowns him because I don't know. He's always just having beef. Him and 50 Cent were like BFFs for life, and then like a year later they're like doing fucking battle raps and shit and fucking hating each other's guts. I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. I never take Mayweather seriously as far as like people that he endorses because it never lasts long. But
well, they're thinking about putting Jake Paul on the undercard for this. Is this right?
I hadn't even seen that, but that would make total sense. He's an odious character too. But even then, Jake Paul's got, or either one of those fucks got nothing on Gervonta, man.
Actually, no, that was for the Tyson fight. I'm sorry. Dude, I'm getting my fights mixed up.
Well, well, I don't think Davis and Leo Santa Cruz is a freak show fight. It's a good fight. It just has some questionable character in there. But yeah, Mike Tyson, it was announced today. Mike Tyson's going to fight Roy Jones Jr. in an 8-round exhibition fight taking place somewhere in California on September 12th. I didn't know about that Logan Paul, Jake Paul news or whatever. Again, I'm not surprised. And I know that they're gonna have MMA fights in it possibly too. It's gonna be like a mixed card of MMA and boxing. I did hear that. But dude, oh my god. I know this has always been a factor in combat sports. You're always gonna have the celebrities that don't deserve to be in there and get loads of money, but it's never going to sit well with me. I can accept it. It's just never going to sit well with me.
He's 54. Does he need the money?
I would argue yes. Mike Tyson has publicly said that he will owe money for the rest of his life. He got so fucked over by Don King, and then I'm sure there was tax issues and lawsuits that he's probably had to pay off, and yeah. But he has said, I mean, you could take that for what it's worth, but he said that he will be in debt for the rest of his life.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks good for his age. I mean, they always say like black don't crack, right?
Yeah.
But
and he did a lot of drugs and alcohol too.
Right, like, but there's like the fighting age, the wear and tear on your body, whatever he's done. Like he did coke when he was 11. He did all these drugs when he was a kid. So,
it doesn't drink coffee.
I know.
I'm with him. I mean, I drink coffee here and there, but it's not my morning routine. And I've had people get in my face like, "Have a cup." Like, no, I don't want it. What the fuck? Like, not to be a functioning adult with coffee. I can do it on my own. What the fuck, man?
But you don't even smoke weed. He did everything.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
He did everything.
Yeah, that is definitely odd. Yeah.
I ain't touching caffeine. I ain't touching that. I do some lines, right? I do some lines, but I won't touch caffeine. So.
Not a principle.
So, like, I don't know. Okay, so there's no official date, or there is one?
Yeah, September 12th, I believe.
But there's somewhere no official place. Okay.
I mean, probably Tachi Palace. If this shit's still going on, I don't expect shit to get better by September for fucking Cali.
Well, where the fuck is Carson, California? They're gonna have it at Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson.
Oh, okay. If that's the one, then yes, that's by Long Beach.
Okay.
A lot of fights happen there. Triple G's fought a bunch there. Like anytime you see like a free like ESPN or Fox Sports card and it's outdoors and it's in Southern California, it's usually there. There's two things that is Beaner Central: soccer and boxing. That's all that happens there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to have any protective gear on.
And it's 8 rounds. I don't know how that's an exhibition. I thought exhibitions had to be 6 rounds or less. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand all this. There's no protective gear. Yeah, and
Then
Tyson's
again,
54. Roy is what, 51, I think.
I was gonna say I don't know what the rules are, but then again, Conor McGregor went 12. Well, was scheduled to go 12 rounds against Floyd Mayweather for his first boxing fight. So whatever.
Andy said it was okay. Andy Foster, after what happened with Chuck Liddell.
And after sanctioning John Jones to fight, even though it was under dubious circumstances, yeah, of course he did.
Man, crazy.
Yeah, right. I mean, we'll see what happens. I do not think Tyson is gonna look good, but if this is gonna happen, Roy Jones is most likely gonna get slept because he'd still been competing a few years ago. And if you guys have never seen the video of him getting knocked out in Russia, oh, if you want to make yourself depressed, watch that one because it's fucking terrifying. He got knocked dead by some Russian dude, and I do not expect his chin to get better at 50 some odd years old. So, yeah, if Tyson's just gonna go out wailing, he's probably gonna drop Roy and fuck him up pretty badly. So that's what I think is gonna happen there. Last bit of headline: the Holly Holm Irene Aldana main event that was supposed to take place August 1st has been postponed. Aldana tested positive for COVID. So now in its place, Derek Brunson and Edmund Shabazian will be the new main event. The one thing I did not see, I don't know if there's going to be 3 or 5 rounds given the time frame. Sometimes they got to give you time for that. So I'm not sure about that, but Aldana got COVID and it will be postponed.
Yeah, I thought it was like Holly pulling out or something, but no. It was Aldana getting sick, man.
You wanted Holly to pull out.
Yes, of course.
No shame in your game, man.
I mean, the only reason why she even wants to fight is so she can get closer to the title.
Of course.
Aldana is it. And then now Aldana, they have to wait for Aldana, so
I do find it interesting, and maybe this is just something out of their control, but from what I saw, looks like Holly Holm's manager said that they did look for a replacement fight, but they couldn't find anything, so they just decided to wait. They just decided to postpone the fight instead of taking another fight.
Yeah, they were like waiting. They were wanted to see if Nunes was available, I bet.
Oh my god.
They're like, no, never mind. We'll just wait. We'll just wait for Aldana.
God, you would never give her the benefit of the doubt, Reen. You were.
I mean, how many title fights do we need to see from her?
We don't need to see any of them. That's what the UFC wants.
Oh my god. Just go away. I just want Aldana to retire her. That's what I was looking forward to. So I'm so mad that she got this because I feel like that's an advantage towards Holly. Like, it's not an even playing field. Holly needs to get it too. It's not fucking fair. We don't know what kind of damage this is doing to Aldana's lungs. Okay, it's not fair.
Aldana should go like that episode of South Park where he gives our Cartman gives Kyle AIDS. He needs to sneak into her room and inject herself and put some of her blood in fucking Holly's mouth as she's sleeping.
Something needs to happen.
Spit in her mouth or something. Jesus Christ, Reen.
I know. I'm morbid. Sorry. I'm the worst. I just, fuck, man. Holly. God damn it. Every time.
I dare say you're the best Holly Holm hater out there. I don't know people that can outdo you. And there's a lot of people that try. I see it on MMA Twitter all the time.
Every time I see her dancing videos, I just, God, my eyes roll back so hard, man.
You go ahead. I enjoy them, no matter
God.
how cringy they are. But I'm not looking at her dancing. I'm looking at other things. So yeah, allow me to enjoy myself.
I guess in that case, they keep on keeping on, Holly, because nobody gives a shit about your dancing. It's not cute. They're watching it for other reasons.
Yeah. Well, that does it for the headline segment. So let's get into the matchup segment. First up, all female fights. First up, Loma Lookboonmee is scheduled to fight Jinyu Frey on a fight card taking place October 3rd. Location to be determined, as is the case with basically all these. Location to be determined, or just assume it's taking place at the Apex. So yeah, Loma Lookboonmee, who we're big fans of, is going to fight Jinyu Frey, who just lost to Kay Hansen. Shit, I would have been so psyched had this happened in Invicta. So if it's happening in the UFC, I'm just as psyched.
It will be a tough fight for Frey, I feel like.
I mean, Kay Hansen's no joke, but yeah, I think Kay Hansen is an easier fight than Loma.
Hey, this is a quick turnaround too for her.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't get like mollywopped by Kay or nothing, but yeah, I mean, well, it's gonna be what, 3 months away?
Yeah.
She'll be good.
It's already like, okay, I'm in the UFC. All right, here's going to be my second, well, maybe potential loss. I don't know.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Especially Loma just lost to Angie Hill, and that was a close fight. She did pretty good in that fight, so she's gonna come back improved. So, and Jinyu Fei is mostly a striker, so, and when she doesn't strike, her other strength is clinching, and I don't know how you're gonna out clinch Loma. So, good luck to her, man, because I haven't seen much of her wrestling. She's really gonna have to work on that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one. So that's a good matchup.
For sure. Another fight, Macy Chiasson is gonna fight Sijara Eubanks on September 5th. Interesting because Chiasson is the tough winner at featherweight from a few seasons back, and Eubanks was basically a semifinalist / finalist. She missed weight, but she was originally fighting for flyweight. She was going to fight Nico Montana for the flyweight title, and then ended up having to go to 135. And now they're both meeting at 135. And Macy's obviously one of the biggest girls in the division. Sijara, strong as shit. And I don't know. Macy's still, the what was it? Swedish girl.
Lena.
Lena, there you go. I was gonna say Lana. Yeah, Lena Landsberg. Yeah, that fight's still sticking out with me, man.
I know. She's still a little emotional. She doesn't have like her emotions under control yet. Doesn't really.
Who, Macy?
Yeah, Macy.
Is she still going on about Valerie?
No, just like when she fights.
Oh.
She gets a little emotional. She doesn't listen to her corner as much as well as she should. She's still kind of, she's still young. So, but with this matchup though, I think she'll probably do well.
Eubanks. I mean, shit. All I think about with Eubanks, just because I don't know, I kind of thought she was a bit of a front runner for a while. I don't know why, but then that Aspen Ladd fight like shows what heart she has. She's a fucking animal.
Yeah, that one still sticks out, but all the rest, I'm like, like the Betch fight, kind of it cancels it out.
You will give her credit one day, Reen. I swear to you, this day will happen.
Oh man,
this day will happen.
We'll see how she does with Macy then.
I think it's a good test. I think you're right about that. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens from here on out with that. Yep. And last bit of news, last matchup for the card taking place next week on August 1st. Viviano Araujo is out of her fight with Jennifer Maia. She tested positive for COVID as well, unfortunately. But Joanne Calderwood is going to take her place. So it is now Joanne Calderwood versus Jennifer Maia next week. The fucking balls on JoJo, man.
Dang. Like, I know she didn't want to sit out and just wait for Valentina, so good for her, because I guess Valentina pulled out because of injury, and then she pulled out again, so she's going to be out for even longer. JoJo's already ready. She's been ready, so she's like, okay, I'll just help out and take this fight. She doesn't need to.
Especially against Maia, who's not great at making weight, and I think, is he going to be even more suspect in a foreign country in Brazil where they've been locked down and possibly hasn't been training well? I'd bet big money she's not going to make weight here. Like, I think it's a damn near certainty.
I know. I don't trust Maya on her weight cuts, man. It's just happened too many times.
Shit, even if you trusted her under these circumstances, it's hard for anyone.
Yeah, true that. So, man, this sucks though. Like, I mean, good on JoJo for stepping up. But if Maya doesn't make weight and she ends up winning another fight, that's gonna suck on paper.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, best of luck to JoJo, I guess, because, yeah, you got to go with the one that'll most likely make weight. So. Mm-hmm. But that does it for MMA. Let's get into our news segment of the week. Sorry. Headline is, a California woman didn't want to wear a mask in a Verizon store, so she pulled down her pants and peed on the floor. And yeah, Irene, I don't know. I came across this story and it just rung a lot of bells of things that kind of reminded me of a certain Okinawan friend. So I decided to pull this up. So I'll read a little excerpt here. So, a California woman visited a Verizon store on Friday in Roseville, right outside Sacramento, without wearing a mask. When employees asked her to put one on or leave, as required by the store's policy, she pulled down her pants and urinated on the floor, the police told CBS Sacramento and People magazine. A spokesman for the Roseville Police Department told People that officers identified the 32-year-old woman as a suspect in an earlier theft reported at Dick's Sporting Goods and found several bags of stolen items in her car. This is an extremely odd incident, the spokesman Rob Becerra told People. Never before have I seen someone become so disgruntled while shopping. In the end, the suspect's actions helped lead to her ultimate arrest. Irene, I know this is near your hometown. I know this has a lot of things that you find not savory. But I will say, as much as I don't like people not wearing a mask, as much as I may not like people pissing on the floor, this stupid broad to fucking steal shit and then to just piss, not wear a... Okay. Even if this wasn't COVID, wear a fucking mask if you're going to steal shit. Conceal your identity a bit. But no, your goddamn indignancy of your fucking stupid ass American rights got in the way of you being a successful criminal. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. Okay, go ahead, Reen.
What an idiot. Yeah, Roseville's not too far from me. As a matter of fact, I like shopping in Roseville in the Rockland area. It's a really nice area, actually. And if it's the store that I'm thinking of, I interviewed at that store maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago. So I laughed because it was my previous employer. No, I didn't want that job at the retail store, by the way. So I got a better job. So it was no like, loss on my back. But just the fact that it happened at the store with my previous employer is just funny to me because, yeah, we didn't part ways on the best of terms. So that's the reason why I'm laughing. Do I think it's disgusting? Absolutely. If you've heard me on this show, you know how I am about this shit. So, yeah, I thought it was disgusting. Um, I just don't get it because I thought people in Roseville knew better. But now that, I read more of it, maybe this person was an outside person, came out and was stealing shit. Because, I mean, if you're like hopping around stealing shit, like, I don't think you'll really act like that, especially in that area. So yeah, it's just so bizarre to me. Like, the fuck are you thinking? You've already stolen once. You should have just took off. But now, what are you gonna do? Go to Verizon and talk to somebody about your service? How bad your service is? Get the fuck out of here, man. You have service with Verizon. It's pretty fucking expensive. It's not cheap. You have money. What the fuck are you doing?
They didn't go into detail much about the woman either. I mean, it just says 32-year-old woman. They didn't say the name or race or where she's from or nothing really. But I mean, I gotta think. I mean, hopefully, I guess I should say that she was on drugs or something because this makes absolutely no sense. And who knows? Maybe she didn't have a contract or anything with Verizon. Maybe she was just trying to get a new phone. I mean, I don't know how you would steal a new phone. And again, I don't. Maybe she actually wanted to buy it instead of stealing. And then I wonder too, what the hell did she steal at Dick's?
Yeah, it's all bizarre to me because all their devices are locked up. Everything's in the storage room. So there's even accessories. I think they're all locked up now. Like, you can't just take things off the shelf.
Oh, damn.
You can't do that anymore. Everything's like locked up storage. Like, they barely have any merchandise out now because they're trying to make it like, the more modern look. So I have no idea.
Have you ever gone into, well, I don't know if it's directly there in Roseville, but have you been to a Dick's Sporting Goods around that area?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this is why you're saying that?
Yeah, like, it's a nice area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the Galleria Mall across the way. There's like Tiffany's and shit. There's Whole Foods. The whole mall is huge. It's a nice area. So I'm just wondering, like, is this somebody coming from the outside, like just trying to cause trouble? Because it's a pretty tight community, I feel. And to do that and potentially see somebody or whoever, kids. What if you had kids or something? Like, really, you're gonna act like this? So I wonder, like, she was off her meds or something. She was an outside person.
Crazy on drugs.
Like, you ain't right. Like, really, you pull down your pants and you pee for what? Something ain't right, man. Because if you stole something, wouldn't you have just like taken off and not caused any trouble?
Yeah, so I keep going back to it. Why did she go to Verizon? If I mean, yeah, was it because she had service and wanted to complain, or she wanted a new phone, or yeah, she's just fucking crazy. She didn't even know what she was doing.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's a lot of white people in that neighborhood too, by the way. That community is like a lot of like white people too. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a crazy white person or what. I don't know. I don't know. White girl from the hood coming over. I don't know. Because we have some like crazy white girls from the hood. So that act out. Man, we have interesting characters in Sacramento. So who knows?
Yeah, I hope there's a follow-up to this and they have a mugshot and names, and I'm very interested to know what this woman looks like.
Yeah,
I have many different images and I don't think any of them are wrong.
Yeah, right? I'm like, who could it be? What do they look like? Are they on drugs? Like, do they look like they're on crack or? Sorry.
Or like most of the stories we talk about here with criminal types, they usually have a mugshot, and every time we see them, it's like, yeah, of course, that's what they look like. Yep, yep.
Yeah. They
But we
would,
don't have one here, so we don't know what the fuck to do.
right? And then they went to Dick's and then Verizon. Like, okay, weird. You needed
That's a
sportswear and a cell phone,
that's a bit of a odd shopping experience, even if you went there legit and had money.
right? Like, okay, during a pandemic. Okay, you want sporting goods during a pandemic? Okay.
Oh, oh man! Every time I've gone into stores, the sporting section is fucking empty. Weights and
It is,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
people are like,
working
like
out at
buying
home.
stuff. Yep, buying stuff. Like they can't keep anything on the shelf, so you have to order it.
That's like one of the few things that when I go to the store, I'm like, well, I'm glad. I mean, there's some workout gear I want, so something like, ah, shit. But it's good. Like, even me that I've been taking up jump ropes lately, like it's hard to find even jump ropes. And it's like, well, I guess they should figure they're cheap, and it's just the thing of actually wanting to do it. But yeah, it's kind of hard to find anything nowadays. Fucking
Mhm.
kettlebells were gone on like day one. Dumbbells are pretty hard to find too. I think the only things I've been able to find is kind of like pretty easy to find is like yoga mats. Other than that, everything's fucking gone.
Nobody wants to do yoga.
Uh, I'm assuming
Yeah,
everyone that does yoga already has a mat. So
yeah. I mean, I ordered a longboard yesterday online because I'm like, why even go? Why even bother? If like bicycles are sold out. They're like
bikes, yep, bikes have been sold out.
bike racks are even empty too. Like scooters, like everything's going off the shelf. So I'm like, I'll just order it. Just come in a couple days or something. Why bother? We're in the pandemic. I should be just traveling for essentials like food and toilet paper.
Yeah, yep. We'll get there soon enough, probably too. But yeah. Anyway, that does it for tonight. So thank you, Reen, for coming on. I want to thank you guys for listening. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at juice_MMA. Reen.
Fox with you on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find the podcast at iFoxWithJuice on Twitter and Instagram as well. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, anywhere podcasts are. We're there. Share, like, subscribe. Do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. And yeah, we'll keep you posted. And come back next week for more shenanigans. So, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next week. Later.
See ya.